2026 is right around the corner, and if you don't change, nothing is going to change, no matter how many goals you set. Welcome back to the Joyful Mental Attitude Podcast. My name is David, and here in the podcast, our goal is to seek out the most joy in life, in the businesses that we're building, and the personal brands that we're building out, and the making content and whatever it is. We're out pursuing joy and kindness to ourselves so that we can offer that to others. My name is David, and welcome back to another episode. Today I want to talk about change. I read this incredible book called Immunity to Change, and there is this crazy idea in it that has literally rocked my world, and it's a 4-step process on actually changing. And the book talks about that really all of us have an immunity to change. We think we want to change, but really there's these things that keeping us are actually not even self-sabotaging us, but they're self-preserving us to not change. It's better and more comfortable, we think in our heads, not to change. And so we preserve ourselves in the things that keep us comfortable to not actually change. Does that make sense? It is a little confusing. And so you've wanted to change, but there's you're rubbing up against comfort and you're self-preserving to actually get the change you're wanting to make or do. And so the book talks about these 4 processes that we must evaluate within ourselves. The first one is the change you actually want to make. So what is that? Your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, a better marriage, a better business. What is the actual change that you want to make? The next step is, what are the habits or actions that you are doing or not doing so that you aren't making that change? So I'm not getting up to work out. I'm eating unhealthy. These are the habits or actions keeping me from actually changing. And then the third and hardest and the craziest part about the book is that this is the self-preserving part. You have an underlining story that is keeping you back from actually changing. What do I mean? So in my case, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, internally, I'm good. I've never been better. My emotional mental health is at an all-time high, but physically, I'm not doing the best. I need to eat better. I need to walk more, work out more, ride my bike more. I need to lower my weight. I need to lower my cholesterol. I need to eat healthier. But I have this internal story that as a Hispanic, for us, when we eat big, it's a big deal in life. Everybody gets around the table. We got the tortillas, the carne asada, everything is happening. And so internally, I'm going, oh no, what am I going to do when there's a big moment in my life? How am I actually going to celebrate? And in my head, I'm going, the only way I know how to do that is eating. And so not only am I not changing, do I not only not have habits to actually change, there's this story inside of me that is self-preserving me to actually get the change that I desire. And if I know that story, I then can change. And so that's the 4 steps that this book talks about changing. I want to give you 5 ideas for you to change in 2026. We're right around the corner, but the biggest thing to change is yourself. That's the first thing I want to tell you about. The hardest change is internal, not external. I don't know if you've heard the idea or the phrase that wherever you go, there you are. So you could change your job, you could change where you live, you could change your relationship, you can change whatever, but regardless, wherever you go, there you are. Get healthy at your job or your business first before you make the change, right? Change is great. Go on an adventure, do the thing, but if you do not change internally, you can change your full external world and nothing will change. I will say though that maybe you can, if you're gonna move jobs, use that as a transitional push to do some internal work. But the hardest change to make is internally. Number 2, you're not resistant to change, you're actually protecting yourself from changing. Find that inner story that is keeping you from changing. For your health, emotional health, again, I kind of laugh at myself now because a lot of this stuff that I'm sharing in the podcast, I joked about it 2 years ago. I thought it was so stupid, if I'm honest with you. All this mental thinking and positive living, I thought it was so dumb because I was the realistic one when really I was being the cynical one that didn't want to change. I lived in a story of cynicism, self-protecting myself from actually changing and being free. Can I tell you that on the other side of these personal changes, I am much freer than I've ever been. I am much more creative than I've ever been. The same can be true for you if you do the change. There's a hidden commitment, a hidden story, keeping the old pattern alive. There's another story that I read about Clint Eastwood. He's a famous actor, famous director. He was out golfing, and he's almost, at the time of the story, 80 years old, 90 years old, and he's still golfing, he's still making movies. And they asked him, Clint, how are you out here golfing? You have a new movie you're working on. What is the secret? And he said, I never let the old man in. I'm not old. And that is the idea. You can't let the old you in, the old patterns in, the old man in. Create a new change. Don't stay committed to the hidden commitment and the hidden story. Number 4, discomfort is a sign of identity level change. One of the things that is happening here recently is there's all this change happening to me internally, in my marriage, in my family. And here recently, my wife and I are catching each other bickering in old ways. And it's frustrating and it feels stupid, but we're going, whoa, hold on. This is our old patterns, our old self, keeping us in a level of discomfort because we're actually changing. Let's be aware of that. I'm not fighting you, we're fighting these old patterns. And that has radically changed how we're addressing each other and doing this. Number 5, I wanted these notes because this book is so good and these ideas. On the other side of change is who you want to become. Can I tell you that I haven't built the business out yet? I haven't done the thing, but I'm already so content in who I am. I have learned the secret of being content, and that is pursuing joy. It is this right here, showing up as who I am. You can do the same thing, and I want that for you. A quote from the book: the very thing we most want to change is often the thing we're most committed to preserving. From immunity to change. There's a thing that you want to change, but it's actually the thing you're trying to preserve the most. Become aware of it. That is where the true change can happen. It'll open you up. Another quote: we cannot become what we are not willing to change. We're going to remain the same if we're not willing to change. And I just want to tell you that you can do it. Don't just have goals. Understand the hidden commitments that are keeping you from actually changing. This has been a heavy podcast. I get it. There might not feel like there's any joy in this, but it's because we got to do some hard work in order to be able to pursue the joy. One of the things or ideas that my friend and I talk about a lot is sometimes a lot of this internal work can feel like you're walking into your dirty bedroom that you haven't turned the lights on in a long time. You know it's dirty, but you're avoiding it. And then you finally turn on the lights and you have a decision to make. Do I clean up my room, or do I just turn the lights back on and continue to live in this dirty room? The lights are on. Let's start cleaning up. And it is when we have a clean room, when we've changed the what's going on, that we can honestly and radically pursue joy to catapult us in who we've wanted to become. Change is possible, but if you don't make it, it's holding you back. This has been David from the Joyful Mental Attitude Podcast. We'll see you Monday for another episode. Let's get this. We're stacking 100 episodes as quickly as possible, Monday through Friday. This is my job, to help you find joy and change in your life.